welcome everybody. My name is Tish. For people who are from Katona, you may know me as a mild-mannered suburban dad who goes by Bill Tisherman. To people who know me even better, I go by Billy. But tonight it's just Tish. I'm part of the One Name Club. You know, Prince, Sting, Cher, me, and about 95% of the pets in the world. And I'm thrilled to be here because this is actually comedy with a purpose. And the purpose, oh, she's not yet on the video screen. We have multimedia, we've got comedy, we've got song, we've got dance. It's going to be fun. Let me tell you something about Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart has been known by many monikers over the years. Domestic diva, media mogul, entertaining maven, convicted felon. Tonight, I want to add one more well-earned title. Well done. As in, roasted to perfection, because it is my sincere belief that in the history of celebrities behaving badly, no human has more deserved to spin around the comic rotisserie than Martha Stewart. And it all started, no, I'm not going to bore you with the timeline of how this started, but I am going to tell you, to be honest, the reason I'm here is not simply because Martha Stewart decided it was a good thing to trademark her own hometown's name. It's more about how she went about it. And it has been in and out of the news, and now it's kind of settled. We'll get to that. But the fact of the matter is that she caused an entire town to go through a very extensive and ugly legal battle over its own name. And all the while, Martha Stewart held to this little position of, I was inspired by my new home, and I wanted to honor the town and its tradition and its history. Well, let me tell you, that is such a humongous load of crap that it would not even fit on her 153-acre estate. From the day she bought property in our neighborhood in the year 2000, she has said she lives in Bedford, New York. Now, technically, she resides, as I do, in the zip code 10536, which is Katona, which is a hamlet within the town of Bedford. But in all of her press materials, in all of her public gushings, she was thrilled about her estate in Bedford. Bedford, Bedford, Bedford. Well, her MO is that whenever she moves somewhere, she gets so inspired by where she lives that she designs products, and she has to name them after the place. And of course, when you name them after the place, if you're going to be in big business, you've got to trademark it. So I understand, that's her MO. So in the past, Martha lived in Maine. She has a line called Skylands. She lived in the Hamptons, Lily Pond. She lived in Westport before she got ran out of town there. And that was called Turkey Hill. And then she moved to Bedford, so it made sense. And sure enough, wasn't there a time when she lived in West Virginia for about 5 months? Oh, I don't think she was so inspired by that residence, was she? But when she did move to Bedford, she brought around all the decorating drones that she must have in her stable. I'm not talking about the horses. And they started to design a whole bunch of goods, and I mean a whole bunch of goods. Basically, everything that fits under a roof, she wanted to redesign for her new collection. And she wanted to call it Bedford. And it makes sense. That was where she lived. But there was one problem with the word Bedford. It's been around about as long as bedrock. And there's another problem. There's a place called Pottery Barn, and they sell some furniture called Bedford. So Martha Stewart applied for a trademark for the word Bedford, and then 5 months later, she withdrew it and decided maybe she looked out the window one day, maybe she checked her mail, maybe somebody told her where she lived, but all of a sudden, Katona. And she took out not one, not two, not three, but 4 separate trademark applications covering paint, lighting, home decor, accessories, furniture, everything that fits under a roof, including a house design. She wanted to call it all Katona. And she took out 4 separate trademark applications for the word Katona. Was this inspiration? No. Let me tell you what it was about. It was not about inspiration, it was about virginity. Bear with me now. Katona was settled by a Native American chief so long ago I can't even remember what the date was. But basically, Katona is unfettered. It's virginal. It was completely free of any trademark nonsense, so she jumped on it. might say she pimped her own hometown. And she thought she could get away with it, but she didn't. She went and she tried to trademark it, and fortunately there were enough people in town who wanted to fight back, and we did. And it was a long, drawn-out process. And at one point, you think, maybe at one point she would have stopped and said, I hear these people. They're not happy. But she didn't. In fact, she never once owned up to the fact that it was basically just a corporate name grab. All along, it was about inspiration and honor. Well, tonight is our chance to celebrate the end of a year of living ignominiously under the dark cloud of a corporate bully celebrity neighbor. And I guess it's fitting that she did get that wee little trademark in the end. There was a settlement. Her disingenuous position ended in a quiet denouement on Halloween, which was a major holiday in Catone. And a settlement was announced that Martha had withdrawn 3 out of her 4 trademark applications, which I translate as, she caved. And she kept one little one just for furniture, pillows, chair pads, and mirrors. And she got that little trademark. And it's a fine thing. You know why? Because now it's official. She may be an icon of good taste. She may be a visionary entrepreneur, but now she is also officially a really, really bad neighbor. And tonight we're here to celebrate the humor in that, because we're stuck with her. She still lives there. She still walks her dogs in town, I hear. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to have some sketch comedy, and I'm going to come back and do another little set at one point. Basically, I want to point out, I thought the food out there was fantastic tonight. Really inspired directly by Martha's books of the 1980s, Martha Stewart Entertaining and Martha Stewart's Quick Cook. And it was done by a friend and colleague and a wonderful chef and caterer, Kara Tannenbaum, who, when she taught Jewish cooking at Peter Cump's Cooking School, one of her students dubbed her Malka Stewart. The Yiddish Martha Stewart, so it was fitting that she was here. And the wines, you saw my little descriptions of the wines in the program. They were apropos, and I want to just tell you one more thing. Martha Stewart is actually coming out with her own wines. I'm not making this up. I can't make this stuff up. It's called Martha Stewart Vintage. They're going to come out in selected markets in January. And it's Martha Stewart joining forces with Gallo to basically put $10 wine in a $15 bottle. That's what it's about. So Martha and Gallo is kind of like Mothra and Godzilla getting together. And I can't wait for that to happen. But let me just, I'm going to now tell you, I'm going to turn the show over very quickly to the Waldorf-Statler Tribute Band. They're a great duo, a comedy duo, which I met them when I started doing some stand-up comedy over the summer. Basically, they are completely ironic because they're not a band, and the target of their tribute is actually 2 Muppets. And I was a little bit past that time, but they were apparently on Sesame Street. So that tells you how young they are. I actually like to call them semi-professional because they're half my age. And they are Ann Dixon and Chris Fitzgerald. They're friends, lifelong friends from New Jersey, and it's perfectly fitting because that's Martha's home state. So they're going to be out in a minute. But I do have to clear something up. A lot of people said, is Martha coming? Did you invite her? Is Martha coming? Well, you know what? I thought about inviting her, but I didn't really want her to be here. But then I thought, how can you have a roast without a roastee? And you know what? There's a point there. There has to be somebody there to get the bars, to take it, you know? And for somebody to, if you want to laugh at someone, it's even better when they're in the house. So I did the best I could. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Martha, Stu. I'm sure you recognize her, guys. Anyway, Martha and I are going to now sit back and enjoy the rest of the show. It's going to start with a little multimedia, and then you're going to meet Chris and Em of the Waldorf-Statler Tribute Band. Thank you very much.